Metro Boomin is a marketing genius. Let's be real, how many other producers do you know that are famous just as a producer? Not like producer turned artist, people like Kanye, Pharrell, Eminem, Dr. Dre, and more people. And today I'm actually going to his show with Future and Metro Boomin. They just launched an album. Today I just want to talk about like what makes him so different and really kind of break down the marketing lessons that I learned from him. As someone who's on YouTube, as someone who's like an entrepreneur, I hate that. I think about like, hey, what are some of the branding lessons that we can apply and what can we learn from young Metro? And of course, I want to write off my ticket to go see him too. So that's why I'm doing it at his show. As much as I hate it, there are 3 lessons, branding lessons that we can learn from as well. So let's dive into it. I always wanted those like concert or like rap show shirts, but no one ever wears them after. But given that Metro is one of my favorite producers, maybe I'll buy one. So you gotta stick to them to see if I actually buy one of these. Oh my God, I just got to Vegas Strip. It's freaking beautiful though. Let's talk about the first branding secret that Metro Boomin does. Something that is really cool, if you ever experience a Metro track or anything like that, it just feels like the vendors are coming together. So I remember the first album I ever heard was by 21 Savage and stuff and Future, and I was like, oh my God, these people are really cool. And then I heard them on Kanye's like album, and then I heard like when he ever released the album, you would see like Weekend. And so I don't know where I really found it the first time, but he was talking about how initially when he first started, he was just working with like local Atlanta artists and stuff, and he wasn't really charging for his services, surprisingly. But when he made these initial collaborations, it's common for producers to charge like 100K, I don't know. And that's something I really appreciate about Metro, is because he was very strategic giving out beats for free just to build relationships a lot of times. In return, that's why we have all these like super viral like tags that everybody talks about, tags from Young Thug and Future and all that too. And they're very, very iconic with his brand. In the book Primal Branding, they talk about like rituals and stuff. And you know it's a Metro beat when you hear the traditional Metro tags too with it. And in my opinion, it really paid off because you got to see him collab with like my favorite rap artists, but we also got to see him collab with like R&B artists too, like The Weeknd, Travis Scott, Don Toliver, Chris Brown, John Legend. And then there was the ratchet ass rappers like Young Nudie and stuff like that too. So that brings us to the first lesson of the power of relationships. I think Metro Boomin, he really understood the power of collaboration at a young age, whether he was intentional about it or not. He would prioritize relationships and then focus on the money later. And I think we can do the same thing. So often we want to nickel and dime and charge people for our services. But a lot of times, a lot of great things can be given out of free will. And the return on just like being a go-giver or giving out more is 10x, 20x. It's kind of crazy, like in my personal life. I've noticed this too, how I landed my biggest client, Ali Abdal, when I started doing affiliate videos for him. Got him a lot of different sales and gave a really killer product review video that made him a lot of money and also made me a lot of money too. I think like even if you aren't a producer, you can still apply this. Okay, so I gotta go to T-Mobile Center. I could walk, but it's 100 degrees right now. And apparently there's a tram that goes here. I rarely ever take the tram in here in Vegas. I hope I don't get killed at this Metro Boomin show. Which leads me to the second thing. Let's talk about the second branding secret of Metro Boomin. One thing I really like about Metro Boomin too, the first time I ever saw Metro Boomin was actually his like Future music video with Drake and all that. It was like that album, What a Time to Be Alive, when they weren't beefing and stuff. And that's a crazy thing. Even recently with all the drama between Drake and Kendrick Lamar and all that, what started the whole thing on Metro's album, like that, before that, Drake and Metro Boomin got into a huge fight, and Drake was like, shut your hoe ass up and make me some drums. How Metro responded was like through the song like BBL Drizzy, which was hilarious, and it got really viral on like TikTok, Instagram, and all that too. And I think the key point here is like he doesn't take himself too seriously, and he knows where his strengths are. Like most people would just like clap back with a rap or something like that. But Metro, he kind of did an AI generated thing, catchy song, BBL Drizzy. It was hilarious. And I think for us, we can take the same lessons where we don't have to take ourselves so seriously, and we can keep things like more relatable by leaning into the memes, the fun, and just being a lot more relatable that way. If that makes sense. I'll never forget about Metro Boomin dancing on that rooftop with like Future and all that. Not gonna lie, I can't believe I spent over $200 getting this ticket, over $40 on parking here. Yeah, it takes a lot for me to like leave the house and actually go to these type of things. So just got here at the T-Mobile Arena. I feel like I'm kind of token Asian here. Not too many of us over here. And I'm probably the oldest here too. Yo, the shirts aren't too bad. They're like 50 bucks. But I don't know if I would ever wear it again, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fuck, so it looks like I got lounge access too. I am super close. Holy. So let's go into a third secret Metro Boomin has. Hopefully this noise canceling thing works. Not gonna lie, Metro Boomin, he always experiments. And with that, he creates contrast. So I'll give an example. Like, as I've been following him, as he's been dropping these albums, Heroes and Villains, not all heroes wear capes and stuff. What's really, really cool is like he's experimented with the Red Bull Symphonic Orchestra in LA that came out like a few years ago. He collaborated on the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack. And then he also created a comic book bringing artists together like the Avengers. And what I think about this is like contrast, right? A lot of times when we think about thumbnails or branding or any sort of these things, we think, like I think about contrast, meaning like you wouldn't expect these two things to go together. For example, you wouldn't think 808 trap beats and orchestra would go together, or you wouldn't think like rap and comic books at all. So I think that's really interesting too. The key point here is that Metro is always willing to experiment, to bring out his personalities, interests, and all that too. And I really think it sets him apart. So how can we apply this to us? I think with branding, especially as a content creator, experimenting is crucial. I think if we want to become better business owners, our brand will evolve over time. And these natural things that we're interested, we want to put into our content, which is why I'm here, because I love business content, but I also like Metro and rap content too. But there's one more crucial thing that we need to talk about. One, the last takeaway, but two, I might go and pick up a Metro Boomin shirt. I actually picked these seats because there was no one going to be next to me. Hopefully, we'll see.
1, 2, 3, go!
That was probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was so nostalgic. They barely even performed any of the songs that on the new album. And it looks like they're sold out shirts and stuff too. There's hella people. So I'm looking at the shirts right now. Honestly, I don't like any of them. Let's talk about the branding stuff, because that's why you came here. The reason why Metro Boomin is so successful isn't because of his branding. Yeah, also makes crazy ass beats. Like, he's a really, really good producer. And like, I was reading his Wikipedia before this show, and he's been playing with FL Studio since he's a kid. He also did collabs with ATL legends like Gucci Mane and OJ the Juice Man, which is so crazy because I used to listen to OJ the Juice Man like back in college and stuff. Like, make the trap say, hey, if you're old like me, then you know what it's all about. But seriously, OJ Juice Man, that blew my mind. I think the main takeaway is like, yo, branding is super important, but at the end of the day, you also need to be good as Any thoughts about his branding that you think I missed? What are the reasons why you follow Metro Boomin? Anyways, check out this next video that YouTube algo thinks that you'll enjoy. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, my people.